Hello, everyone, and we're so happy to see you for this episode of Witcher Ways of Old Lost Days. I am your game master for tonight's story, Gilbert Ramos, found everywhere at Ramos the Nomad on the social media. Tonight, we're going to go over our, what people you're actually here to see, our heroes. Let's go ahead and meet them now, shall we?
Hello, everyone. It's me, Edge, the Nomad, or Edge Survival. I am playing Nyoka. Tonight. I'm ready to see what we've been up to.
Hello everyone, I am Warren, found everywhere at The Demons Within, and I will be playing Kura, a Witcher of the Griffin School tonight. And I resent this group being called heroes.
Hello everyone. I'm Barissa Rave. You can find me all over the internet as such. But tonight I will be playing Visha, the mage, the alchemist, and definitely not a hero.
Heroism is an interesting term. Has an interesting definition. Some people are born into it, some people seek it out, and some yet are still called. So let's see what calls our would-be, maybe, probably not heroes today, shall we? On today's episode of Witcher Ways of Old, we begin, as we always do, with a recap. Kura, I believe you volunteered.
Kinda sorta, we'll go with that. So, last you left us, we spent a good deal of time talking and learning about each other. We discovered the secrets of my enemy. We learned about Nyoka's companions. And we learned about a teacher that had lived. We began traveling, trying to regain what was lost from Nyoka.
Indeed we did. Traveling northward, hoping to meet one of your companions. And by one of yours, I mean Kura's or Visha's, whoever would essentially write back first. Now, during your travels, it takes a couple of weeks. You're essentially traveling through the country of Temeria, having left you all near Maribor. Traveling up north, you have to cut through a war-torn land. The battle lines have been drawn, Vizima has fallen. Temeria, for the most part, is under Nilfgaardian control. Now, of course, there are splinter groups, there are rebellions, there is still a fight going on here in this country. With this, it makes travel difficult. There are heavy border patrol. There is heavy soldier occupation. This slows travel time. This creates a difficulty. So the first task for the three of you, as you begin to travel northward, I must ask you, what do you think, and you may discuss this as if you were in character and as if you, or out of character, but the question is, how do you handle the situation? Is there any strategy to it? Or do you just push forward and pray?
I think for Visha it is a matter of using the two witchers with her. They have a knowledge of the land that she does not. So she uses that expertise in finding back roads, back ways, and perhaps being maybe the more charismatic of the two, is able to garner favor with the people of these lands, perhaps doing small odds and ends as trade, maybe giving some medical aid, potions and whatnot to people that we meet along the way, or for extra help, letting us know if a place is overrun or if there's heavy Nilfgaardian presence, things like that, in order to skirt around the worst of it.
This would have been much to Kura's dismay, as I would have wanted to be helping combat the tyrannical takeover that is happening here.
I would have articulated, our non-involvement, unless pay is in the mix. I would also be inquiring about contracts, for any vampiric, like, things. So, or wild hunt things.
That's another thing. I think after Nyoka had mentioned, sort of in that first night that we actually got to talk and spend time together, mentioning the wild hunt and the white frost, Visha would have kept a keen eye out for signs, shifts in elements and in the people themselves. Are they feeling the effects of this incoming doom? Or is it all just the focus is Nilfgaard? I think she would have also paid attention to the workings of creatures of these lands themselves. Like animals, when danger comes, they grow silent or they run. So she starts to kind of keep a little ledger of, as like these little towns we pass, is there less interactions of these monsters, especially ones that like to take people? Is there something that they are afraid of more so than they're, fighting for their survival? So just the entire time she's keeping a small ledger of the happenings in the world.
Understood. So you make yourselves useful, that's what I'm gathering, in order to get through these borders and to get past the battle lines. It's good.
Useful?
Would you describe it otherwise?
I mean, I'm purposeful in what I'm doing. I guess if I'm being useful to myself, yeah, but not necessarily to others. Like, I'm not here to be helpful. As long as helpful and useful aren't the same.
I would argue that yes, that's exactly the case. With that in mind, I'm going to need some rolls from everyone. For Visha, empathizing, speaking with the people of these lands, let's have a charisma roll.
15.
15. For Kura, you, however, it sounds like, want to be helpful. Before I have you roll, I would like to ask, because there has been a topic brought up of money. Now, Nyoka is very money motivated, it seems. What about yourself? You have some morals here. You have some qualms with the goings on of what's going on here. When offered a contract to fight for Nilfgaard, would you?
No.
What would you fight for?
The resistance, the safety of the people.
Why though?
I very much would be there to help.
Why?
I think also, like, Visha probably more like Nyoka in that will help but for a cost. And then anytime they see that their sister is getting into things to help, there's probably a curse and your fucking bleeding heart, and she will go and chase after her sister and help in order to make sure her sister survives.
Well, I still don't understand why. What's your motivation for this?
Have you seen what tyrannical oppression can do? They come in, they take, and they take. So there's nothing left. People shouldn't have to live that way.
So it's tyrannical oppression. So do you just want to bring oppression down within itself, or is this strictly for the Nilfgaardians?
If people don't want to be ruled, they shouldn't have to be. Especially not by force. Negotiation, politics, all that is above me. But you should not be forcing it down people's throats by taking over their country.
Everybody that lives under a banner is ruled by someone. And it was taken by force by someone. What difference does it make if it's a black sun or a blue shield?
The difference is I'm here now. And if I can help those that do not want that, then I'm going to.
As I
Well-
said, my sister is cursed with a bleeding heart.
I'm sure if your sister was born in the heart of Nilfgaard, that it would be bleeding for the other side. But
I wasn't.
Instead, she was made a witcher. But that is what you all are meant to be, yes, protectors,
against monsters,
guardians.
not people.
People can be bigger monsters than any monsters we've killed.
But that's not what we're created for.
I find monster to be such a broad term. Are they not mostly animals fighting for their own survival? Really, monster is a lazy way of witchers saying, kill the thing that's different because the others can't do it themselves. To me, it matters not either way.
Nyoka, I'm sure this all sounds very familiar to you. I had to have this conversation very recently before your departure. What goes through your head as the familiarity picks up? You had this conversation with Ingrid of Sintra. What defines intelligence in a monster? What defines a witcher's purpose? Here you are again, having to defend your beliefs, what you believe to be right.
With Ingrid, I was, maybe humbled in a sense, whether it's, through the inability to do what I wanted, but yeah, I guess maybe the second time around, I don't know, this is weird. This is just weird, It's just another one that's young and never knew its purpose. Or maybe maybe I never knew my purpose. I don't know. But regardless, what I do know is that there's bigger threats that need to be fought rather than wars about borders. So I don't have time to waste.
With that being said, Kura, Visha, you are on a mission. Now, Visha, it's less concerning for you, but more so the question is for you, Kura. Regardless of how you feel, regardless of the morality or the moral high ground you think or maybe do have, it doesn't really matter. You're on a mission. Stopping and saving every wounded soul. Stopping and quelling every takeover. And continue to put you further and behind your goals. At what point, and you don't need to answer right away, you don't need to answer yet, but at what point do you stop? At what point do you put yours, your sister's, and your new companion's goals first? So with that, Kura, I would like a roll from you. Let's have willpower courage. Or will courage.
17.
Understood. And for you, Nyoka, as you travel, you made a face when I said you were money motivated. Do you disagree?
Yeah, I disagree. I'm not money motivated.
Elaborate.
Just not gonna do it if I ain't gonna get nothing out of it. There's other things at play. There's other things that needs to be balanced. Like you said, there's a lot of things going on. But I have my goals at hand, and yeah, I'm not going to accept everything, especially if it's not worth it. So, and money is the minimum, to make something worth it.
Empathy, persuasion, please.
Empathy, persuasion, that thing butchers don't have much of. Or
Two.
pretend they don't have much of.
I have 2. A total of 7.
Stand by while I do some quick math. While I do this quick math, let's have another look as you guys travel. Let's begin this time with Visha. What's it like traveling with a new companion? You're traveling now, away from your goal. There is an end to this. You can finally see a goalpost, essentially. You may be traveling north, but you are, in a very real sense, getting closer to the end goal. What's your thoughts? And do you allow yourself to open up? Do you allow yourself to get closer to Nyoko? You guys may discuss this if you'd like.
I think it's always fun to have someone new around, someone to pick their brain. I think at first, Visha is playful and makes jabs every now and then, trying to see, things that make this new person tick. But I think eventually she sees a person who is deeply wounded, and not just in a physical sense. It's a person who's lost their arm. The whole sense of self can be thrown off when something like that is taken from you, and especially in the brutal way it was taken. And I think she does not pity him, but she does empathize. And when she sees those particular nights when he is, struggling most, she helps him, but in the way where she doesn't say anything, doesn't look at him, doesn't make a fuss about it. She catches him every once in a while drinking something, smoking something, and she knows that she has far more available to her than he does. And one night when he is perhaps resting, or maybe he's out hunting for food so that we can all eat, whatever it is, she will slip something into his potions that will allow him to feel good, not numb him. In fact, every chance she gets, anything that he has that would numb him, she removes it. Because she firmly believes you do not heal by not feeling the thing that hurt you. You have to feel it. But it doesn't have to be awful the entire time. So she just, every once in a while, will sneak something into his potions and whatnot. And I think it's in those moments when he is not tense from the pain that she allows herself to get to know him more, to allow him to learn little tidbits about herself. And it's, she's always, for the most part, for most of her life, has been on her own. She finally got her sister back, so that was a whole adventure in and of itself, learning her sister all over again. And they're twins, so there's something that, inevitably they have these things that without realizing it, they're very similar. But she is harder than her sister. She is not as empathetic of the world as her sister is, and sometimes there's conflict in that. Nights when she's had to say, no, we have to go, we have to run, you cannot save everyone. And then sometimes there are angry outbursts that Nyoka has witnessed of her saying things like, no one was there to save us. Then remembers someone did save her sister, and she says, no one was there to save me. And so there is this, like, these outbursts of rage that come from her, and her lack of pity for the world. She's a bit of a realist in that way of like, it's not, there's never going to be a time when it's better. Not really. There will always be someone trying to take, always someone trying to hurt. Sometimes it's better just to get out the fucking way. But she tries her best to aid her sister in the times when she can't convince her. Tries to shore up that bond. And then again, I think I wouldn't go so far to say friendship, but an amiable nature begins to form with her and Yoka. And I think there is part of her that goes, well, it doesn't have to go. Can just stay with us. He might be better off. His last group lost him his arm. She doesn't say that to him, but she certainly feels that way. Yeah. And maybe he could be a friend. I don't know, I've never really had a friend. What would it be like to have a friend that I'm not related to? So, yeah, I think she's never gentle with him either. To be very clear, she is a little mean to him. And there are times where she will say to him, you're alive, right? So since you're not dead yet, get your ass up, things like that. Kind of becoming the fire to his icy presence and constantly pushing him.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
He doesn't register it as you being mean. He's just
That's
like,
fine.
oh, okay.
That's fine. I'm sure my sister will be like, hey, can you calm down?
I think I'd like to focus in on that for a moment, actually, if I may. There's one of these moments where you have an outburst of anger, and one of these moments where, Vish, I don't think it's unfair to say that you have some trouble making friends. And
Absolutely.
some of these moments are probably because of that, or that's the reason why. But you have an outburst of anger, and maybe you're expecting it, maybe you're not, maybe it's far from your mind. But Nyoka doesn't react the way that others do. He doesn't yell back. He doesn't push back. There's no, correct me if I'm wrong, Nyoka, there's no rage when you have this moment of anger. There's no, so long as it's true and it's a cruel truth, there's no fight.
There's no, that's fair, I guess. Yeah.
No, Visha, that's new. And there's I think, an adjustment period, to say the very least. Especially in the moment. In the moment when you're angry. Far be it from me to assign this to any of your characters, but psychologically, when you're angry, most people want to fuel that fire. They want the retaliation. They want the argument. It takes a lot of work to not want the argument. So maybe not in the moment, but it's up to you, Visha, if you want the argument at all or not, or if you push, or how you react to that. But I think at the end of it all, at the end of the argument, once your temper is calmed, you would realize that Nyoka didn't argue. And he also didn't storm away.
I think there is a moment of her registering the lack of reaction, and it makes her angrier, and she threatens him. She grabs his little alchemy set and his bag that has those leaves in there and says, I don't think she even says anything that is like discernible. I think it's very much like a passing cursing of him and saying like, and you wouldn't be shit without these, would you? Like very much trying to goad the fight out of him, and essentially threatening to burn it all. Like her hands will light as if she's going to cast fire on it. But in his not reacting and his not storming off, it halts her. And then she says, I'm sorry. That was cruel of me. And she backs away a moment and looks at him. It's almost as if in wonder, like in surprise, because her sister also doesn't get angry back. She'll argue, but she won't necessarily get angry and push at her or anything like that. So, but she does often see in her sister's eye this, like, what she perceives as like pity when she gets into these rages. And to see none of that in Nyoka, and he doesn't storm away, I think there is a kernel of warmth she begins to feel for him. This just moment of like, I can rely on you, which she doesn't really have experience with. So after she apologizes, she is the one to step away, frustrated with herself. She doesn't know why she's like this.
I'll posit you a final question, Visha, that I think would pop into your head, and you don't need to answer it right now. Does Nyoka's lack of anger, his lack of retaliation, comfort you because you think that he won't storm away? Because he's older, because he's wiser, because he knows? Is this someone you can afford to be angry with? And what I mean by that is, can you afford, finally, to just be angry? To allow yourself to be angry? And if so, what does that make Nyoka to you? Now again, you don't have to answer this right away. In fact, I would encourage you to reflect. Move over to you, Kura. During these travels, you've witnessed Visha and Nyoka's interactions. We'll say, we can't call them necessarily arguments. And you've had your interactions with Nyoka and Visha about your quote-unquote bleeding heart. What's it like traveling with these two? To have your, what you think is a moral war, stifled. Now, before it was just Visha that was calling you a bleeding heart or telling you that you couldn't afford to stop. Now it's two. And now it's a seasoned, older, wizened Witcher. What is it like to travel together now for you?
Frustrating at times. Because I want to help. But also, I understand that we have a task and deadlines. So it is both frustrating and gratefulness that she would feel. Frustrating in the moment, gratefulness after. Because that's one of the things that her sister always did, anyways, to keep her on target. Remind her, it's time. We have to go. Now, during one of Visha's outbursts, she specifically mentioned that nobody was there to save her. That would have gotten a response from Kura. But not the normal sisterly response that one might expect. Her response probably would have immediately jumped to, and wasn't that a damn shame? What if somebody was? What if somebody had been? How much different would our lives have been? Now we are older and we can be those people. We can be the ones to stop that kind of thing from happening. And you don't want to stop the cycle from repeating? That's what you're telling me right now.
I think as well that that would have given Visha pause. How different their lives would have been. They would have never been separated if someone had saved them. And it makes her scared. It makes her scared to bear the weight of that responsibility, because then what if they fail and it didn't matter anyway? And so yeah, I think if anything would have registered the fear in Visha when you say that.
As far as Nyoka, would be more so me trying to learn. Every chance that I got, I would be probing for new information, new things. How do you do this thing? Spar with me again. Whenever I'm not trying to help somebody else or driving. That would be, Nyoka is older, he is wiser, he can teach me. So I can be better and I can do these things better. I can be more helpful.
I would say pretty early on, probably during that night, that conversation, if it was out loud or anything, I probably would have challenged Kura in some type of way. I will also say this: Nyoko would be probably probing and seeing where the boundaries are, for everybody. But in that moment, I guess specifically with Kura, yeah, I would have challenged you. Because if you're so intent on what's right and what's wrong, fighting for the good of whoever you decide, I guess, then a big portion of the blame is on me and my school, as you already know. Wouldn't it be right for you to strike me down now, allowing the Empire to just roll across the continent?
I would have accepted the challenge, but I wouldn't have fought to kill. And in response to the questions, if you asked me those, do you deserve people's hatred and ire? Probably. But everybody has their own values, their own things that they are choosing to fight for. And I can't hold it against you for choosing to fight for yours, just like I can't hold it against Nilfgaard for doing what their emperor says. But those that want to be free should be, and if I can help, I will. You are free to choose who you work for. And if that be whoever has the deeper pockets, that's your choice to make. But know that one day that may put us on opposite sides.
Well, I suppose they also have the freedom to move. But
Do they, though? To move from their homes, what they've always ever known? Just because somebody came in and said, this is mine now, they should have to move?
it's a choice.
Choose to fight for what's theirs. What was theirs long before. See, nothing wrong with wanting to help protect that.
Anytime Yoka asks questions about their past, especially if he asks Visha about her scars or anything like that, she does not answer him. If anything, will say monsters.
I don't think I would ask about this stuff.
But yeah, if he ever asks probing questions about their past, she ignores it, pretends as if he wasn't speaking at all.
For Yukura and Yoga, I find it, well, for Visha as well, because you are mixing with the people of this country as you move through it. I will say this about the people in the occupation by Nilfgaard. Most people don't care who rules. Kura, you find that it is a sad thing that people don't care who their king is. It doesn't matter to them. They still will pay their taxes. They still will be forced to pay tithe to whatever lord is ruling over their lands. What is the true tragedy is the war itself, where people are forced to pay a tithe of bread, or their crops, or house soldiers. Whatever businesses are being run are forced to help fund the Nilfgaardian war machine. People just want to be left alone. It's not about being free. They will, unfortunately, like Nyoka said, these people will not be free. So long as they're a banner that is hoisted high over their land, they're not really free. But this war, the suffering that the death causes, it doesn't end with bloodshed. It continues on and it ripples out across the battle lines, even past now. Again, most of this country that you're traveling through, most of it is Nilfgaardian occupied, controlled. The fighting far from the towns and villages that you are traveling through. But they call for sons. They call for soldiers. They call for bread. And they call for coin. And all must march north. Whether that stifles your argument in your mind or only fuels it, it's entirely up to you. But you'll see a lot of injustices on this road, Kura. And you are more empathetic than most Witchers.
No, you said you will be learning and training from me and sparring and stuff like that. And in turn,
If you would teach me.
yeah, in turn, I tried not to make it noticeable, but I readily begin teaching, And I'll be honest, I would probably try to influence that a little bit, to try to drive you from steering away from the world of man to the world of monsters. And this is why we're here, type deal. That's you'll probably get a little cult feeling coming from him, honestly. Um, this is what we're here for. This is our purpose. So, um, he would definitely do his, if you're learning, receiving it. He would definitely, the top three would be dragons, higher vampires, and the wild hunt. That's, if you let him guide the conversations, that's what he's talking about, and learning and training and ideas about how to go about your situation and stuff like that. So yeah.
Anytime Nyoka mentions the Wild Hunt and the White Frost, Visha will be taking notes. She, though, would never say it out loud. She does see, that's a huge threat, and no banner is going to matter when that gets here. So that's, during those lessons, when he mentioned, that's when Visha's really paying attention, is during that.
Noted.
And I know my companions probably won't know this, but my previous ones would know this, because Nyoka is pretty tight-lipped, has been, but yeah, for some reason he's just been feeling pretty good, he's just things hasn't been, it's not like, it's not hurting as bad, there's throbbing here and there, but it's just overall he's just, yeah, and it's kind of making him think a little bit more about himself and where he is in life. And this is the second Witcher he came across recently that was fairly young, that kind of came from our original school, and they're actually kind of taking what he's saying to heart or seriously, at least when they're not ridiculing him about it or dismissing it, so yeah, the last real knowledge about all this stuff might be with him or with Letho. So I guess, yeah, I might as well get it out.
So
'Cause-
Nyoka, you teach, and you
Yeah.
get the information out there. Now, we've had a pretty good look at what it's like for you, Nyoka, but is there anything you wish to add as you travel with a Witcher that is a little wet behind the ears, and a mage who is maybe not so much?
I mean, this is a big change for Nyoka. Until recently, he has been on his own for a long time. And yeah, it's just a big change. And for him to be as vulnerable in a state as he is, he's, I don't know. It's a humbling experience, I guess. Not quite sure how to feel about it. But with the deal he struck with Visha, if anything, he's loyal to his word. So his companions are pretty decent.
They are. And what about that bottle What about the leaf? Do you think
Oh
you
well,
notice that you do it, or is this something that you think is subconscious?
the leaf, no, that's subconscious. The leaf is subconscious. Um, Drinking, not as much. Yeah, I probably wouldn't notice that much either. Especially if I'm trying to keep my mind busy with teaching and training. Um, but yeah, whenever I mix and dabble in my potions, I have been doing that a lot more. And I don't think I probably noticed, but it if somebody is watching me, they would probably notice that I take a sip of something before I do almost anything. Yeah.
Again,
So
you don't, Ishakura, you don't know that that's out of the norm, but what is interesting in this moment, Nyoka, when asked by either Kura or Visha when you are dabbling in your alchemies, I'm sure the question comes up of, what are you making? What do you say?
um I don't know, honestly. I guess I'm trying to piece something that just will I don't know, take this feeling away, you know? But nothing really seems to work. I don't know. There's this one decoction that I've been making, but it's been hit or miss. That's been pretty good. But I don't know. I feel like I'm just missing an ingredient.
I think whenever he says things like that, Visha, knowing what she's added to his things every once in a while, doesn't tell him, but will say to him, "You're never going to make it go away. That feeling. Hiding from it isn't helping you. The moment you accept it, it gets easier."
I'm hiding from it. And I can't not accept something. It's not here. Uh,
Mm.
but uh, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get used to it with time. It's just until then, I need to find something.
My final question to you, Nyoka. In the past, in a series long ago, it feels like, I have assigned you something that I am inclined to ask you with all that you've been through. Do you think you sleep soundly?
So, east, yeah, damn. Well, it depends. Uh, if it depends on how much I ended the night on. It's pretty much a lot every night, and it doesn't help. Yes, no, I don't sleep that soundly as I used to. You know, if it's a dream of of the happenings or what's about to happen or what's about to happen or just reliving the moment of losing his arm and things of that nature. um he's been having a lot more restless nights than soundless nights. So
It's a cramped sleeping arrangement if you choose to sleep in the wagon. If you choose to sleep outside of it, that's entirely fair, but
I'm sleeping under a tree.
staying near camp, near the warmth of fire, sleeping under a tree, it's still Visha Kura. Doesn't happen, much like Noka says, sometimes the dosage is right. Sometimes you notice Nyoka does not sleep soundly. Sometimes it's worse, other times it's just mumbling. There are things that haunt his dreams.
I don't know about Kura, but Visha knows what it's like to have things haunt you. And so I think there are times, especially when it's really bad, and he's grunting or shouting or look like he's tensing in his sleep, and I imagine like sweating and, going through it. Visha carefully will sneak out of the cart, not to wake her sister. And she will lay him on her lap and just gently stroke his forehead. And she'll sing soft humming songs that her mother would sing to her and Kura when they would have bad dreams or when they would be sick. Try to comfort him in his sleep. And then when she felt he settled down, she'll sneak back into the cart and the next day act like it never happened.
As you travel for weeks, what I thought was going to be the last question is led to one last one, I think. Nyoka, we've established your reflex. We've established the ability for you to be aware while you sleep. So I am inclined to give you an option here.
Yes.
Do you sleep through it? Or when you wake up, do you make any inclination that you are awake? Do you allow this to happen?
I mean, I would prefer to roll for it. Naturally, I feel like Nyoka would have a level of awareness, and maybe depending on the type of night he's having, that reaction might be more violent than other nights. But I could also see if maybe the nightmare has taken hold fairly hard. I will also say that I honestly kind of believe in that this isn't really me. This is didn't they say Renrick has this ability? Right? But yeah, after a couple of nights, I would be like, yeah, this isn't me. This is Renwick's doing.
Noted.
Maybe I'm delusional. I don't know.
Either way, delusional or not, as you all travel, you take up some contracts. Collectively, the three of you are able to gather up. We'll keep this simple and we'll go by the term of crown, rather than give you guys a number of different types of currencies. 1,400 crown for the three of you. That is total, not each. So how you divvy that up, who you think has earned it more, entirely up to you. Now, with this being said, 1,400 crown is acquired by the three of you. You have an opportunity as you make stops to upgrade the wagon, to buy supplies. Do what you need to do. won't ask you to halt gameplay here, or we're not going to do Economy Simulator 101. But should you be peeking through the book and find something you might have picked up along the way, let me know, and we'll get you some expenditure. Yes, Visha.
1,400 crown between the three of us, if you round up the decimal, is 467 crown each. I don't know about the others, but Visha would definitely spend her portion of it in upgrading the wagon, or if they need like upgrades in like her alchemy set, if they need new things for their armor and weapons, like things like that. She that's what her money would go towards, would be to making their way just that much smoother. Yeah.
Kuro would definitely have pitched in for the wagon. And depending on what was left, Kuro would have probably been buying supplies for her alchemy, and it's probably not enough for that, but yeah.
It's very much, at least as far as the alchemy stuff goes, is just to like shore up what she doesn't have already, or what she can't find in the wilds herself, you know. So most of it, if not all, would go towards that wagon. I think there is a point where she's like, he's got to stop sleeping under a tree. You know, like that can't be good for his back. So
there is a
yeah.
I was, again, like I said, you guys have opportunities to make upgrades. There is a sleeping upgrade that can be purchased for 220 crown. If you all would like to, well, let me, because you divided this up, 467.
Yes, it's 467. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'll leave it up to you. The cost for a sleeping upgrade is 220.
Okay.
Given that you guys are traveling and it's wartime and people need cash, I'm not going to give you an opportunity to haggle. That's going to be the cost, and that is.
What about to intimidate?
No.
Oh.
There's a war going on.
Damn. Yeah. No, I don't. I'll be straight. I don't. Visha loves her comfort, more than anything. So she would happily fork over 120 crown to upgrade the wagon.
Cost is 220.
I'm sorry, 220. Yeah, That's fine. 220. She would pay it.
If anyone would like to contribute, let me know how much you want. This is up to you guys. Again, we're not going to do Economy Simulator 101. Cost is 220. Subtract however much you would like to contribute to the wagon. Nyoka, would you like to contribute to the wagon? I see you.
Hell no, this ain't my wagon.
It sounds like it'd be split pretty evenly between me and Visha.
So 110.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, at the end of it, Nyoka will probably only claim like 200 of the crowns. Yeah, how about that? Yeah, just I'll pay my portion. I'll buy it. And y'all can have the rest of my crown.
You want to pay for the wagon in full? Pay for the upgrade in full?
Yeah, I'll pay for the upgrade in full, and the rest is split between them, because realistically, like, I would only be doing things that, you know, taking money from jobs that I would do, you know.
Okay. So, Kuro, you have 467. Visha, you're at 467. Nyoka, with the upgrade, you're at 247 crown. That, I will say, upgrades the sleeping occupancy, to by 1, so you guys can now comfortably sleep 2 individuals. Another upgrade can be purchased. That will be the maximum. This wagon, mechanically speaking, only has 3 improvement slots. One of them which is already taken up by a workshop area for the alchemy set. So, if you would like to
get a travel alchemy set.
Yeah, but I don't have a travel alchemy set. That workstation is mainly mine. Yeah, no, I think we're good for now as far as the wagon goes.
Hold on, how much is it?
And
How much is what?
for
The
the
another occupancy thing?
Yeah.
Another one would be 220 again. But I will say again, like I said, this wagon only has 3 improvement slots. You can choose other improvements such as iron siding, a steel top, set of wheels, a hidden compartment, a deployment chute, secure storage, so on
Oh.
and so forth.
Oh, fancy.
I mean, I'm good.
Y'all should look at the upgrades and see which one to use.
With 1 upgrade purchased, you guys can now comfortably sleep 2. You can sleep all 3 now in the wagon. Before it was kind of impossible, but now it's possible. It's just Visha and Kuro. You're gonna have to cuddle up, be sisters.
That's fun.
Gross. She's touching me.
You snore.
Imagine.
No, I'm sleeping outside.
Outstanding.
No, he's not.
The whole reason we did it was so you'd sleep in the damn wagon. You're getting in the damn wagon.
Exactly.
I'm not hearing all that.
That's great. There's one night where suddenly the thing he drank made him so sleepy he can't go outside. So there it is. I any other coin is spent is to shore up our alchemy stuff. And that's it, you know.
I'll do all that stuff after,
Yeah.
Yeah.
before
sure.
next session.
So
Yeah.
we cut into this, and as you guys are traveling, you guys end up in Miravel, which is just across the river, the Pontar River. Technically in Redania. And this is where you get the message. This is where you get your letter. Visha. First letter to arrive is from your protege. She writes that she's in Cadwin, in Bangleen, which isn't too far from here. She says, I think I may have something to help him, your friend. It's experimental. I haven't had a chance to test it, but I'm here, and I can only pause my travel for so long. I'm heading up to Banard, and then she gets further into detail about she's going to Banard, this renowned school. She's much like yourself, you know, she's your protege. She's not traditionally trained. She's not an Aratuzan mage, but she's going to Banard, and she's very excited about it. Maybe a bit more bright-eyed and bushy-tailed than you are. And very excited to see a traditional school, a traditional group of mages, even if it is all housed by men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're close. How would you measure that in days? How many days would we take to travel-wise to get to her?
Traveling up, essentially, you're traveling up the Pontar River, and Bangleen is on the edge of it, on the side of it. It's not too terribly far. You'd pass by a castle hag. You'd be crossing into another country, into Cadwin, and that has its own challenges. But in days, maybe a little less than a week. It's already been a couple weeks at this point.
Yeah, I think she doesn't allow the messenger who gave her the letter to go. She simply writes quickly, "We'll be to you in a week." And then just adds essentially a postscript of, "Be careful. Mages can barely be trusted on a good day, and even less. Watch your back." And then she will send that messenger off with that letter and the bit of coin necessary to send it ahead of us. And then I will turn to Nyoka and say, "Well, I've got a bit of good news for you. My protege will be able to give you something to help your arm."
Okay.
It is new, experimental in many ways, not been tested, but I imagine having something will be better than having nothing.
Yeah, let's do it.
All
Where's your
right.
protege?
Tell me, GM again, what is the name?
Valeria.
No, not her name, not her name. The location that she's in.
Oh, Ban Glen. In Cadwin.
And like, oh, and yes. So I say that to you. So not too far away, just about a week's travel. Valeria is quite accomplished. So in any way that she might be failing, I can shore up the rest. So it should be smooth.
Okay. Well, to Cadwin.
Cadwin, for all of your knowledge, is a hard country. It is primarily rocks and hardy terrain alongside dense forests. The people that this place produces are used to eking out a living and eking out a place to live on hard terrain with all of the ambition really from this place is to survive, to push forward, and to be strong. You travel. It's a hard road. The western border shared between Cadwin and Redania is unnecessarily open, as Cadwin is fortifying. Just to the southwest, Nilfgaard is marching. So you run into a little bit of trouble getting in to Cadwin. Not enough to stop you, but enough to give you a taste of the hospitality of the country. They want to know who you are. They want to know what you're here for. Witchers. They handle their own here. They don't need you.
Yeah, I think Visha, if that is said, like Visha is like, well, it's a good thing they're not here to help. Simply here to meet a friend. Visha is just very matter of fact with these people. You know, I think it's she understands that they are hard people, that this place that they live forces them to be as a matter of survival, and so I think she just very much doesn't fuss about with them. I think she sees it would be a discourtesy to play those kinds of games with them. Life is already hard, so she's just very matter of fact, here to see a friend, and then we'll be back on our way.
What you all would also know of Cadwin is that they are the youngest country in the north. They pushed back the elves about 200 years ago into the Blue Mountains. They are incredibly prejudiced. Dwarves are tolerated. Elves are simply not. The Skoatal, the elven fighting forces, the rebellion, if ever there was a rebellion against tyranny, Cadwin against the Skoatal is certainly a fight that continues to this day. Cadwini forces respond to the elven raids by killing the elven people in hundreds.
As we departed, though, I will say, as a response, if something ever becomes too much to handle, just be sure to bring your coin.
Nyoka and Kura, I think. Actually, everybody. Separate roles for everybody, though. Nyoka and Kura, I'll allow you to roll Witcher training. Visha, I will allow you to roll, let's see. I'm less inclined to give you a magic training roll on this, but let's go with education.
16.
16. Visha?
15.
28 then.
Then, perfect. Nyoka, you more so than basically anybody here, knowing Cadwin, and knowing the area here. Maybe you spent some time after your mission, let's call it. You know that Kermoran calls Cadwin home. School of the Wolf. School of the white-haired wolf. This is closer maybe than you've been in a long, long time. You can do with that information what you will. It's just something that you know.
I'll probably bring it up. Yeah, I will bring it up. Especially because there was a couple witches that actually came from the school, right? That came to help during that night. I forget which ones. Was it Vesemir? And yeah. So yeah, I'll bring it up. That it might do us some good to check in at Cairmorn if we have the opportunity to.
What's at Cairmorn?
Just a School of the Wolf. I know one of them came to help the night that I lost my arm.
Aye.
So it would be good to just, I guess, know.
Hey, can I insight check him?
Yeah, absolutely. This will be a empathy human perception. Nyoka, if you are being honest, no need to roll. If there is anything you'd like to hide, then this will be a empathy deceit.
I got a 17.
I have an 11.
So, Visha, tell that Nyoka is withholding certain information. I'm not entirely sure what, but there's more to the story.
Is this visit of knowledge and possibly gratitude only for knowledge and gratitude?
I mean, maybe not only. I guess it depends on who's there. But if it's the one that helped us, then yeah, of course there's gratitude.
Is it common for witchers to fight each other? Not in a sparring sense.
Would I know how far out of the way the school is with what I rolled?
Incredibly far. Visha, Gura, you would know it's up northeast in the Blue Mountains. You guys are basically middle south, essentially.
I'm sorry, but no, we can't go all the way up there.
Okay. It just came to mind as we was crossing, so.
So which one of them fucked you over?
I mean, I've only met two of them. Yeah, the what do they call them? The White Wolf? That's what they call them?
Do I know anything about a witcher named the White Wolf?
I think that this is a situation where I don't even require you guys to roll. You guys would have heard stories of the White Wolf, and the Butcher of Blaviken, the Geralt of Rivia. This is, I think, one of the most famous of Kura and Yoka's kind.
You want to... What?
You
What?
want to pick a fight with Geralt of Rivia?
I'm not picking a fight with anyone. But there's matters that need to be discussed between.
I see. Well, it's so far out of the way. Let us get you your arm first, just in case it goes past words.
It's fair. Yes. Let's get my arm.
If it ever does, can I watch? That sounds like a very, very interesting learning experience.
With this, we travel further to the east. You make it in record time, or at the very least within the time frame necessary. Bend Lane. There is an apartment here where your protege resides. You can see it's a cloudy day. There is light coming from the upstairs window. A candle has been laid out. You are free to enter if you wish.
If you'll allow me, and this is purely flavor, but I think that as Valeria is my protege, I think we'd have ways to let the other know, like, it's me, right? Like I'm the one here for you, right? And I think the flame of her candle glows blue before they enter the building.
Minor bit of magic. And
Mhm.
it glows blue for but a moment before it slowly fades back, and then you can see as you come to the door, a figure goes to the window, looking out. Her hair is wild in a tuft of curls. Look like she hasn't brushed it in some time. It is this sort of chestnut brown, short, cut down just above her shoulders. She wears no lipstick, but the eye makeup is intricate, leaving a weave of of lines and almost like vines from her left and her right. Eyes they don't pierce like hazel, or they don't glisten like the ice blue that you see in some mages. No, they're simple brown. They're pools of honey that you could get lost in, and she looks out with a big smile. Visha!
Hello, love.
She rushes down. You can already tell she's going to be running down the stairs to come greet you.
Mhm.
Do you wait, or do you approach the door?
I approach the door, but I think that the other two see a warmness in Visha that she has not shown during their travels at all. There is just this almost maternal smile on her face as she sees her protege.
I'm gonna give them space.
You do this, and out bursts your protege, Valeria. She is shorter than you. Which Visha, how tall are you? Give me one more moment.
My goodness, I think we're like 6 foot or something like that. We're tall as
You
fuck.
guys-
I think we're
You
or it might
guys
be
were,
it might actually be like 5'11", but we're tall. We're
Yeah.
very tall, yeah.
She's about 5'5", light-skinned, and wearing what looks like comfort clothing. Most mages you've interacted with are into the sort of provocative, seductive, or the elegant, the refined. No, she wears simple darks, blacks, and blues, and there's leather on her wrists, almost like vambraces or just armor bits. She wears a brown belt with a couple pouches attached to her left hip. She looks very pleased as she runs up and gives you a hug, Visha.
Isha hugs her, one arm around her body, the other at her head, holding her close, and then takes a moment and pushes her outward and says, "All right, Liv, well, let me have a look at you," and just, sees how much she's grown since the last that she's seen her, how she's changed, things like that. And then just cups her cheeks and says, "I'm so happy to see you, especially in one piece.
You
You've
look
been careful, yes?"
lovely.
"Oh, well, just this old thing. It's fine. Could be worse."
I was so worried. And she notices Kura and Yoka. Is that the sister?
Yes. Cora?
The moment Visha looks over, she's gonna see the raised eyebrow and just the cocked smile of Kura. There is a heart. It still lives.
She flips her sister off. Just immediately, and she says, "Right, Cora, Valeria, Cora."
It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well. I've heard a lot about you. And, I never thought I'd get to meet you. I can't believe you're here. I was so worried about the kind of gestures. Visha, this is a sort of, this is a habit of hers. She doesn't, she tries not to mention directly something that could be harmful, or it's a very casual way of, like, as if she forgot the word for war.
Yes, well, you know me. Always can get myself out of scrap if it's necessary, but thankfully, I have my sister and Yoga. 2 witchers are real helpful on the road.
2 witchers, and she looks at you, Nyoka, and she looks a bit wild-eyed, a little bit excited. A lot of energy here, you can see. She says, "It's a pleasure to meet you." She reaches for your hand, Kura. Do you allow her to take it?
Yeah, if my sister trusts her, she should be safe. I would shake her hand.
It's more than a handshake. She takes your arm and sort of grips it. It's a sort of... It's everything... It looks like it's taking everything in her not to just give you a hug.
You can hug me, and I'm not Visha.
Didn't want to assume, and she jumps into your arms. She squeezes you. And there's strength. You can feel force. She's not weak. And she looks to you, Nyoka, and she says, "And a second witcher, she never mentioned you."
I newly acquired.
Newly acquired. You cannot collect people like the herbs.
Well, she makes no comment. She's like,
Valeria, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yoga. And I extend my hand to shake.
And she shakes it. Nyoka, you feel it too. She's a hugger.
No.
"Oh, You'll find he's not a hugger, darling.
I heard that witches were prickly. I've never had the pleasure of meeting one. Please come in out of the cold.
Yes,
I'll put on some
yes,
tea.
and we head on in after her.
With this, we're going to take a brief break. And for those of you watching, we hope you enjoy some of our previews, some of our trailers, some of our upcoming programming. We'll see you all very, very soon.
America has always been a place where conservatism and religious ideology has been fed by men to the uneducated like milk from their mother's teat. What this breeds is an environment for blind obeisance and ignorant fear, which controls the masses just as much as the blood of the covenant or the barrel of a gun. Men bring the raising of ground and the pillaging of Gaia's bounty, and this has never been more of a threat to the Garu nation than it is now in the days of the apocalypse. However, all of this is where this story begins, but not yet where the tale begins. For that, we will need to reach back through the time and haze of the deep umbra to find the beginning. Walk with me, you little wolf, and reach us through time will show you a story that even ancient Phoenix has forgotten.
Another witch, or what happened to you?
I lost my arm.
Not all witchers are honest and true.
There's a war coming. A war that's going to take way more lives than any political drama.
You are intent on being a part of this war.
I'm intent on doing what I'm supposed to do as a witcher.
The protection of humans is the agenda. It's the whole reason we were made.
You cannot save everyone. No one was there to save us. No one was there to save me.
And wasn't that a damn shame? What if somebody was? What if somebody had been? How much different would our lives have been? Now we are older. We can be those people.
And welcome back. We hope you enjoyed our look at our programming and our upcoming schedule. We last left our heroes in the home of Visha's protege, Valarian. She's placed some tea out and allowed, or gathered up some biscuits, some sort of sweets and such. It's not a whole lot, if I'm being honest, but it's they're simple little things, like little sweet breads and things. Her home is cluttered, Visha. You didn't have, I don't believe you enforced a lot of what Cadfan did for you, and so there's not a whole lot of discipline in this regard. It's an organized mess, is what she says, which is something you can kind of familiarize yourself with. It's a lot of trinkets and baubles from her travels, things she's gathered up. Archaeological things, skulls and different stones and rocks, gems inlaid with little bits of carved runes. She says, "Well, how was your travel? I know that there's an event going on, so did you have any troubles getting through the borders?"
Well, you know, they weren't taken too kindly to the Witchers, but we were able to convince them to let us in anyway.
Well, I don't imagine they want 3 in their country, at least not in the city at all at once.
Now, thankfully, all of us are not elves, so
3.
we may do.
Yes, there was a contract put out on Election a few weeks ago, and someone finally came to claim it.
Ooh.
He's up at the inn, I believe, or he might still be on the hunt. His horse is still there, at least. Some white-haired fella.
Oh, perhaps you're right.
Where?
Oof.
Over at the inn.
Point?
Do you know him?
What's the direction? Where's the direction to the end?
Well, from here, just south, down the road. But again, he might still be on the hunt. If you...
I walk south down the road.
Do you want to just wait?
Nyoka.
And,
I walk
get
south
your
down the road. I walk.
arm.
I walk.
Nyoka.
Oh shit! Ah,
God damn it.
you walk south
I
down the
definitely
road.
grab him. I grab him by the back of his, like, clothes. And
Well,
say...
let's see if you can first, because Nyoka is known to be quite quick. Nyoka,
Yes, it's true.
again, you are quite quick. Walking with purpose,
Shit.
I imagine.
yeah.
I would also be trying to grab him.
The combined efforts
Reflexes.
of me and my sister.
Reflex, dodge, escape, please. And then Visha and Kura, if I could have your Dex Athletics.
If I provide aid in this, can I be a +1 to Kura's roll?
Sure.
I got 29.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, saw that coming. Yeah, joint attack is attacking the joints, right? This is just a basic roll.
This is just a basic roll. I will remind you that you have luck points that you can spend. They will refill at the start of next session.
Take my +1 and maybe use that luck.
See, I could do that, but I kind of only have 4 of those.
Brother, please.
I'll use
They
one.
refill.
I'll use one for
You
this
use
to
one.
try to
You use one.
because I know
Okay.
I'm gonna need luck to stop Nyoka anyways.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah,
How'd
that's
we
a
do?
whopping 18.
Nyoko, you are free to travel as you wish. Unbound, unmoored,
God damn
unbothered.
it.
I'm just briskly.
Nyoka. Nyoka, you need your other arm. And he might not even be there. He might not even be there. He's probably still in the hunt.
Should I not have said that?
It's not your fault. You didn't know. Nyoka, please
I'm
be
already
reasonable.
at the tavern or the inn.
God damn it.
Kuro, are
just
you following
loud
him?
cursing.
Yeah, I guess.
Visha,
I
do
did
you
say I wanted
follow
to see
him,
this.
or do you stay with Valeria?
I fucking follow, but I'm huffing and cursing the whole way. The whole damn way. I say to Valeria, I'll be right back. God damn it.
Or you could come with.
Should I stay, or do I... Okay.
Well, if you'd like to see a show, come on.
I feel like there's going to be violence.
There might be. There might be.
No, she gathers up some of the herbs that are on the counter. She follows. Nyoka, lead the charge. Kura, you're all following. Is there any discussion along the way? I'll let you know when you reach the tavern.
I mean, cursing, of course, but I think that, I think Visha's like, what possibly could this Witcher have done to piss him off this badly? I can't imagine. What was the hunt for, Valeria?
It's for elation. At least that's the
Oh.
rumor. We can never really confirm with these things.
Okay, what do I know about Lesha? What do I know about these
Let's have
creatures?
for you, let's have a education roll.
Hey. 17.
17. These are difficult creatures to take down. They are almost like forest spirits. They're not spirits necessarily. They're blended with the trees. They use the roots and vines to attack. They are incredibly powerful. They're difficult to take down. They require strategy, time. They command the plants and the animals of the area to do their bidding. It's like fighting the forest itself when you go up against one of them. Once you enter the forest, you're in danger. You have no idea how far their influence can go, depending on the size, the age, so on and so forth. You essentially need to track down and expend resources to get to the heart of the forest itself. They're slow. Their claws are incredibly deadly. They're tricky. The older they are, the more likely they are to have these things called like the totems of the Leshen. The more totems that they have, the more powerful, the more deadly that they are. The most totems a Leshen has been seen with, at least from the records of the Griffin School, is 5 totems.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this the creature, and you'll forgive me, but is this the creature from the show that when it like pierced the heart of that one witcher, it left essentially like a seed within them, and then it like burst forth later?
Yes.
Okay.
That is exactly that creature. However, there's no ability, I don't believe, that has that out of character.
Okay, I understand. Okay. Yeah. I think Visha, in realizing what it is that the White Wolf is fighting, she's like, "Oh, we'll be dead." Like she has no faith in this girl. So she's just like, "I don't think Nyoka will find him anyway. He's going to be dead." All the while racing after Nyoka.
Kura doesn't say anything. She's trying to decide whether she should be trying to stop Nyoka or just be excited for what she's about to hopefully get to see. Like, it's not often you get to see 2 Witchers fighting. There's a lot of things that could be learned from this. But she kind of likes Nyoka.
Nyoka,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
on your mind?
Not much. There's a possibility that Geralt is there, and I could question him about the deaths of my comrade. And if anything escalates from there, then it escalates.
You make your way. The whole time Valyria is questioning what's going on, what's their history, is this going to be okay? We are in public.
Visha does answer, of course. She, to the best of her ability, clearly she doesn't know, but she's like, they've got history with each other, and apparently not a great one.
What did he do?
But I don't know. I imagine killed someone. I can't imagine Nyoka's response being for anything less. Or, give Nyoka credit, he's not easy to anger, so perhaps it will only be a conversation. She definitely says this as a way to kind of like calm Valeria down, because it is very public space. They've already have issues with Witchers, so she's says that to calm her. But then she is also like scanning people, like making sure that the response doesn't end up with us getting run out of town and Nyoka without his arm. So he's keeping an eye
from
out.
what you can tell of the people, depending on Kura, is your medallion is out?
Yeah.
Nyoka, and what about yours? There's a notice of anyone who looks at you for longer than like a few seconds, they would notice your eyes, Kura and Yoka. Yoka, you travel usually with your hood up, though. Really, Kura is the focus. But it's not enraged or anything like that. More so just a whisper. This is normal. This is a normal thing. The whispers of a witcher.
Okay.
And as you travel, as you make your way, you can see at the stables of the tavern, this inn, there is a brown horse, a white patch of hide or fur, with black hair, and they're saddled and bridled, and it carries, or is going to be carrying as a hooded figure, 2 swords on his back, just strapping down what looks like twigs, but they're too soft to be twigs. It's soaked in this almost oil, maybe blood. A bundle, a trophy or remnants of whatever creature. As it ties this down, you can see under the hood strings, strands, a flash of white hair.
Well, I guess he didn't die in the woods. She gives them their space to talk, but she's not too far away just in case.
It doesn't seem to have noticed you all yet. But as he turns, you can get another flash. As he turns his face and looks up toward the tavern door. Stubble.
Am I?
Sharp features. A scar. Continue.
Yeah, I mean, I would try to get close to him if I'm able to close the distance.
Would you like to be stealthy about this?
Yeah, I would like to him for not to notice.
Let's have a dexterity stealth roll, please.
It exploded.
So did he.
That's fair. 37.
34.
Jesus Christ.
Doesn't seem to notice you as you approach. However, Kura, Visha, I know, Visha, you said you were going to give your space, give them their space. Kura, what about yourself?
I mean, I'm not gonna get right up on this. This is so I guess yeah, space, but I'm not hiding my presence either. I'm close enough to see and
Looks
hear.
to two of you, and she says, "Are we just going to stand back and let this happen?"
We are going to stand back and watch what happens. I was assured words would be exchanged first.
Didn't you say you met him only a few weeks ago?
Aye, but he's a man of his word.
You met him a
Are
few weeks ago.
Are y'all close enough to me?
Yeah, I imagine we're all kind of cloistered together.
I would look at you and tell you that if it does break into a fight, we should not intervene.
Yoka?
I would also say that, like, even though, like, I wrote sneak, I'm not trying to be like
Crouch down and the
Yeah,
Skyrim stealth. Yeah, no.
if we could just like fancy text it as like, oh, I'm just so sneaky naturally.
Yeah, you step quietly,
Mhm.
and he's preoccupied. He doesn't notice you come up. You may
And it's
get as
just
close
that
as you
simple. I just wanted to put my hand on his shoulder, my one good hand, and say his name, Geralt, to get his attention.
like. He turns around, not terribly quickly, but quick enough to where you can tell there's a reaction here, and he turns to face you. And there he is. Just as you remember. The white hair. There's a bit of stubble. The scar runs deep. His eyes, the same mutation as yours. You can see he doesn't hide the medallion. The wolf almost calls out, bares its fangs at you. He looks to you and he just says, "Fuck."
We need to have a conversation.
Do we?
I feel like that would be best, unless you have another suggestion.
What conversation could you and I possibly have?
Voltes, Hinslet,
I
Yennefer.
recognize you. What's your business? He begins to turn back and continue tying up the Leshen's parts onto Roach.
You cut down 2 of our brothers.
Your brothers are trying to kill men.
Men you have no loyalty to. After what we helped you with,
Go ahead and give me a human perception roll.
Hey. Can I roll human
Yeah, I was about to say,
perception?
can I too?
Roll me a human perception.
Even though we're not part of the
Don't
cult.
roll a
Yeah.
fucking 2.
I'm just being nosy.
Just the peanut gallery watching from a distance.
9.
I got a 19, baby. Give me the
I got
T.
11.
19, 11, and 9. Nyoka, you don't see any empathy. You don't see any care. Within 11, Kura, you don't either. Bisha, what you see is a little bit different. It's hardened. It's a stoic face. There's an embarrassment there. He remembers. And looks to Nyoka and he says, "It was a complicated matter.
It wasn't complicated to us. There's only so few of us. And we put our necks out to help you find her, to get her to you. And that's how you thank us.
What I saw was assassins. I didn't see witchers. I saw kingslayers. I'm sorry for your brothers. I'm not going to apologize for what I thought was right at the time.
Where do you want to do this?
Nyoka, pointedly, his eyes don't leave yours, but they do for just a single moment. And look to your arm. And he says, "You don't have to do this if you don't want to."
Pretty sure I'm the one that came to you.
Like you said, there's already so few of us. And I've given you an apology. What more could you possibly want?
There's a lot of things going through his head right now. He's trying to figure something out. Because if that is the case, what more could he ask for? But a simple mistake, right? That like an apology isn't enough, right? Like it can't be enough. There's got to be some sense of
No
I don't know.
justice.
Yeah. Even if it wasn't as plain and cut as it is.
I'll tell you this, Nyoka, and you can feel free to hash this out in your head. We can take a moment to look inside your mind. Like I said, what you don't notice is any sort of empathy. You don't see regret. You don't see a wish to change things. Saying all this matter-of-factly. It's just something that happened for him. He probably hasn't given them any more thought. What you do know is that he's giving you an opportunity for an out. Whether you take that as an insult or a challenge, maybe you could use that to your advantage. He doesn't think that you're a threat. He thinks the lack of your arm is to give you whatever he thinks might be mercy. Are you willing to give him any mercy?
Well, with with that divine clarity in mind, I'm gonna take a little sip of my hooch. Say one more time, where do you want to do this? I suggest outside the city.
I'm gonna collect my payment. I ride out tomorrow morning. If you're there to meet me, by all means, we can walk, we can travel, we can talk. If you're there to stop me, I've gotten past worse barricades.
What'd she say?
I've gotten past worse barricades.
Oh. Well, that's fine. I'm not a barricade. Did Vesemir, that's his name, right?
He nods.
Did he make it out okay?
He's fine. Recovering.
Came whole, hopefully.
Were you there?
I waved my arm. The ones that's missing.
Sorry for that too.
If you happen to see him, then we both managed to survive past tomorrow. Tell him I owe him.
Guess I'll see you tomorrow, Viper. He
I'll walk
moves to lead Roach as you walk away. Visha, you see Nyoka return to you, and as he walks, this white-haired witcher watches him for a moment as he leads his horse away, finally breaking his eyesight. Hood back up, eyes cast down to the ground as he leads his horse to go collect his bounty. Nyoka, you return to your companions.
Men and their pride. Come on, Witcher. Need to give you a new arm. She'll start heading back with Valeria.
heard everything, are you certain in your course of action here?
Yeah, why wouldn't I be? Would you not?
Don't know. Probably.
So her name is Valeria. What do I owe you for all
Oh,
this?
it's not a I didn't really think about the price. It's an experiment. I don't really know what to. I was trying to improve on a design for a friend of mine, who's So I don't really know what I don't really know what to charge. Are you? Looks between the three of us. Are you going to try to kill him tomorrow?
I'm certainly not. And nor should you.
I've been working on it. And it's very nearly ready, and I didn't expect you to need it so soon. So we should back to my place.
As they're walking, Fisha looks to Nyoka and says, "You said it yourself. There are so few of you left. You fight him, you die, or get worse injury. You will not be there to fight that greater fight that you're always going on about. And given the state of the world, we need as many Witchers as we can get."
Originally, you said that you wanted to talk. What, other than a fight, what were you hoping to get?
Perhaps explanation to dissuade me from war.
Would anything have dissuaded you from someone that killed family? Honestly.
At least I can't say I didn't try.
He meant it. And he said he was sorry. Embarrassed by what he did.
Regardless, I won't let it be said that a wolf managed to kill 2 vipers, or at least kill one of them and scare off another. So whether everyone knows about it or none,
A snake's venom sometimes takes years to kill a foe. With that in mind, this is where we'll end tonight's episode of Ways of Old, Lost Days. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Same place, same heroes. See you then.